Hello again, YouTube. I had someone comment on my channel. He says he has the same exact motherboard, the Asus Crosshair 4 Formula motherboard, and the same exact processor, the AMD 1090T hexa-core chip. And he asked me, how did I obtain a 4 gigahertz, well actually I have 4.1 now, but stable overclock with the temperatures that I had. Well, the temperatures aren't due to me, they are due to the cooler that I have, and I have the Corsair H70 self-contained water system. And I did replace the stock Corsair fans with mass cool 120 millimeter ball bearing fans. They are high density fans. They're made for basically push-pull systems. They work really well. So, but I'm going to go ahead and run down my settings here in my Asus motherboard in the BIOS, so that if you have the same setup, you can use the settings I have. I have these tested. This overclock is tested at a 24-hour Prime 95 test at 100% stable. So I'll bring you in here. You can see I'm in the extreme tweaker version right there. CPU frequency and my RAM at 4.1 megahertz, 1600 for the RAM. Now, my overclocking utility, of course, manual CPU ratio at 20.5. To do this, you must turn off your AMD turbo core technology. You cannot have the turbo core turned on, because if you do, and you start stress testing your CPUs, it will try to ramp up 3 of your cores, causing a blue screen. So you can turn that off. My bus frequency is at 200. I leave the PCIe frequency exactly the same. My DRAM frequency is 1600 because I'm using 1600 megahertz RAM. I leave the CPU and Northbridge frequencies on auto. It makes it a lot simpler, especially for an overclock of only 4.1 gigahertz. So, but I did change the HT link speed up to 2600. Now, let me go into my timing configuration. I do use an 88824 on my RAM. Of course, down from the 99924 these things come stock. Now, I enable my extreme overvoltage so that I can add extra voltage to my CPU. If you do not enable this, you will not be able to maintain the correct voltages to get this overclock stable. I use a manual setting for my CPU and Northbridge voltage mode, and you can see CPU voltage. I have it set for 1.55. And the Northbridge, CPU and Northbridge voltage, I have it 1.25. And of course I have the RAM voltage set at 1.8. Everything else is set to auto. I'm not actually doing some extreme overclocking now. I'm not trying to break, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, anything like that. So these auto settings here for the Northbridge voltages and your Southbridge voltages, these are all just on auto, as you can see. Nothing fancy here. These are just the ones you want to worry about here. Your top one being your CPU, the bottom one, the middle one there is your Northbridge voltage, and then of course your RAM voltages. Back at the top again so you can see one last time here. Okay, the CPU ratio is 20.5 with a bus frequency of 200 and 1600 megahertz on my RAM, because I do have 1600 megahertz RAM, and 2600 megahertz on my HT link speed with my RAM timing of 88824. So pretty simple. Then when you're done with all that, of course, you just come down and push your F10 button and hit OK with the save configuration changes. And this is, like I said, this is a stable overclock. I am using the HX 1000 watt power supply by Corsair. So you do need a nice power supply to obtain nice, stable voltages for your overclock. If you've gone out and purchased a cheap power supply that cannot maintain the proper voltage on your rails, you will never obtain a stable overclock. Never skimp on your power supply. Always buy a real nice power supply. So as you can see, Windows is now booting up. As so. And we are on. And that there is the stable overclock. Let me pop open CPU-Z here. Excuse me. Allergies. Oh wow, good stuff. There it is, AMD Phenom Hexacore 1090T at 1.55 volts with a core speed of 4.113 and the multiplier and bus speed right there for you. Switch over to the memory. As you can see, DDR3, 8 gig at 88824. Okay, I hope that helps. As every time, if you have any more questions, please post them on my channel or send me a personal message, and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. Thank you again, YouTube.